Hi, I'm Rob.
I'm Rob.
And this is Ask Rob and Rob.
Yes, hello. Thank you for joining us for episode number 3 of the Ask Rob and Rob podcast. Every Tuesday morning, we invite you to submit your question for us to answer for the benefit of you and everyone else who's listening.
Now, remember, if you'd like to submit your own question, it's easy peasy. You can just pick your phone up and make a call, and the number is 013 808 00035. That's 013 808 00035. Charge at normal rates, no hokey pokey, silly business here. Or if you want to go to thepropertyhub.net to record your message, you can do. Just make sure you put /podcast in there, and you can leave a message that way.
So Graeham from Cambridge picked up the phone to us this week, and he asked us a bit of a tongue-in-cheek question. Let's have a listen to that now.
Hi, Rob and Rob. Graeham from Cambridge here. Thank you for inviting me to submit a question. I'm sure many listeners will agree that your sense of humour is part of the appeal of your excellent podcasts. As property developing and investing can be a serious business at times. Therefore, as I am certain that you'll be asked plenty of important questions by others, here is one that is a little more tongue-in-cheek. Much of the time, landlords and investors seem to receive more than their fair share of negative criticism from the media and general public. Read any blog below an article on property, and you can be sure that we will be blamed for everything. The lack of housing, spiralling prices, stealing from first-time buyers, and that we are all greedy, selfish, and do nothing to contribute to the economy or society. Even the government has now waded in by reducing the tax relief available, thus insinuating that we are not running legitimate businesses. I have lovingly improved every property acquired, creating a comfortable home for someone, making them more environment friendly by insulating them, replacing boilers and windows, and in the process giving lots of work to local contractors. I treat all my tenants with the respect they deserve as valuable customers by making sure that their homes are in great condition and ensure that any problems are fixed promptly. Most of my tenants have no desire or ability to buy, as some like to be socially mobile for work, some are students, some are charities, some are mental health organisations, providing accommodation for patients and carers, and other tenants simply enjoy the freedom and lack of responsibility that renting gives them. My question is therefore, am I a bad person for being a property investor?
Well, first of all, Graeham, thank you. You're clearly a man of good taste, pointing out that we have excellent sense of humour. But you also point out that landlords get a lot of bad press. Rob, is he right?
Well, if you venture into the comments section of any Guardian article about property ever, that question will be answered for you. Also, perhaps more surprisingly than the Guardian, if you go to Money Week and you look at any of their articles about property, the comments sections are horrendous. It's unbelievable, the vitriol that's being aimed towards landlords in there. I'm not saying that none of it is justified, but I think a serial killer would be saying, oh, steady on, if someone was saying that kind of thing about them.
Yeah, I've experienced this before. I became an investor anyway. Being a Liverpool fan, Everton supporters treat us exactly the same way. We don't care about them. And, you know, the bad press we get, I don't let it bother me too much either. But it's probably, I'm used to it that way. Sorry, Everton fans. But he is right. I agree, Rob, with you. The greedy tag, the evil tag, the vicious leeches tag, we get them all. Even though Graham's pointed out what a great job he's doing, you know, being environmental friendly with the things he's putting into the property, offering a great home, offering a service to people who need it, but yet he's still tarnished with the same brush that we're all evil, we're all bad, and we're trying to leech from society by providing good homes. Now, there are bad landlords out there, but his question is, Rob, is he a bad person for choosing to be a landlord?
Well, in that case, absolutely not, of course. I'd like to think that Graeham knows the answer to that one and isn't beating himself up on a daily basis. But there are bad landlords, of course. But I think there's a more nuanced argument in there as well. It's not just about some landlords treat their tenants well and some treat them poorly. There is a bigger kind of context to this as well, because as well as being assets, properties are also places that people need to live. So you could say that at one end of the scale, you've got people who are bringing derelict property back into use, putting improvements in place, providing a good home. That's a fantastic thing. At the other end of the scale, you've got apartments which are being created to be sold to foreign investors, and they're never going to be lived in. They're just going to sit there completely empty for years in the hopes that they'll go up in value. And that's a bit more questionable because we don't have enough houses in this country. That's not our fault as investors, but it is a bit dubious when you get the properties that there are being acquired by people who never plan to actually use them. But then in the majority of cases, most of us are somewhere in the middle. We're not saints. We're not evil. We're just people who are trying to improve our lot in life as best we can. And property is what we've chosen to do it. And I think it's often the case that when people want to take a pot shot at landlords for whatever reason, they pick one of the extreme cases and apply that as if it's everyone. But then by the same token, I don't think it's fair to pick the best possible case and assume that all landlords are like that either.
We should start a new term, they're being landlordist. Or that's a case of landlordism. I'm not sure if that movement will take off or how much sympathy or support it'll get, but, we could try. But in all seriousness, yes, Graeham, I get your pain, and therefore the reasons I don't read The Guardian is not because of the poor journalism. It's actually quite good. I've read really interesting stuff in there previously, but if you delve too deep, you end up against the hate property investors type article. Money Week for me is just a joke now. They go so far over the top. The articles, they've been calling a property crash every year for the last 20 years. And guess what? They've got it right one or 2 years because there has been a crash. But all those years that they talk about it crashing and it doesn't, and it just carries on going up, they must hate it. But they just keep banging the same drum and saying how bad property is, and all the people who hate property investors jump on the forums like Rob said. It's all silly business. But the best thing is just keep doing what you're doing, being a good landlord, and I'm sure the rest will take care of itself. Now, as we've already said, you can leave us a question by calling in. But if you'd like to go one step further and join us for a full day mastermind and really dig deep into your strategy and what you're trying to achieve, then please join us on our next summit. If you text SUMMIT, that's SUMMIT, and your email address, so write summit space email address and text it to 88802, normal text rates apply, 88802. We will send you all the details so you can book on and join us at our next available place. When you do this, I'm not too sure how many have been booked and how far advanced you have to go, because we only let 16 people onto each one and we only do it once a quarter. So it's quite an exclusive little group. But if you're keen to join us, you know what to do.
Yes, and before that, I hope you'll join us virtually on Thursday morning as well for the Property Podcast, encouraging evil landlords since 2013. And we'll be back next Tuesday morning as well with another episode of Ask Rob and Rob. So whether it's in person or on the airwaves, I hope we'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.